Jai Hind everyone. Today I am going to discuss a new topic from machine learning, that is artificial neural network, ANN. So basically there are multiple approaches, or you can say algorithms for defining machine learning uh, which are defined here, that is ANN, artificial neural network, clustering, reinforcement learning, decision tree learning, Bayesian network, support vector machine, genetic algorithm. So in this particular lecture, I am going to discuss ANN in detail, and further topics will be covered in the future lectures. So let's start with ANN. So what is ANN? As the name suggests, artificial neural network. So the main term which is coming out from here is neuron, neural network. So neural network is nothing but a word which is coming from the term neurons. So what are basically neurons? Neurons are the small units which are present within our brain, human body. So, and these neurons are responsible for performing various operations which we perform as a human. So all these kind of things which we are performing as a human are basically controlled by the brain. We say that a human perform any kind of operation due to brain, presence of brain. He thinks from his brain. So in the similar way, we can train our machine as like our brain. So brain has neurons or nerve system cells that are primary unit for both the brain and nervous system. So in biological term, we relate the term neuron. But when we are dealing with the machines, the term comes artificial neural network, which is similar to the biological subfield of artificial intelligence. So an artificial neural network is usually a computational network based on biological neural networks that construct the structure of the human brain. So just like the human brain, or we can say similar to the human brain, the structure of ANN will look like. It has various layers similar to the human brain and so on. So for example, this is the diagram or structure for the biological neuron. So in a biological neuron, you have dendrite, cell nucleus, axon and synapse. These are the various biological terms which are associated with a human neuron, or you can say the neuron which is live, which is present in our body. Now, what are these terms signifies? Dendrites are the branches which are responsible for receiving information. These dendrites are the branches through which we receive information. And what is this axon? Axon is a cable through which neurons send the information. This is just like a bridge which transfers the information from one neuron to another. Similarly, what is synapses? It is the connection between the axon and other dendrites. Synapse is responsible for connecting multiple neurons. As we know that there are millions of neurons present in our brain. So, multiple neurons are connected with this synapse, and the axon is responsible for transferring the information from one neuron to another. So, and what is cell nucleus? It is responsible for processing the information. Whatever input we are receiving from the outside world is being processed with the help of this cell nucleus. In the similar way, we create a ANN. So, neural networks are the simplified model of biological neuron, which is massively parallel distributed system made up of highly interconnected processing elements which process information by their dynamic state response to external inputs. So, neuron structural constituents of human brain, entities which perform computations such as computations, recognition, cognition and patterns. So, when we compare the biological neural network and artificial neural network, these are the comparison tables. All the dendrites from which we accept input from the outside world are termed as input. The cell nucleus where the processing is being done is termed as node. The synapse which is responsible for connecting other neurons is the weights, and axon which behaves like a bridge from one neuron to another is the output, because whatever information is being processed by one neuron is being transferred to another neuron will become the output for the first neuron and input for the other one. So that is output. So all these are the terms which we are going to discuss as per the ANN. Now, what is the structure of ANN? Now, structure of ANN, as we know, it is similar to the human brain. So, in a human brain, what is present? We have discussed in the previous diagram, that is the combination of various neurons, and each and every neuron is accepting some input and generating output and transferring it to another neuron, and similarly the process is going on. In the similar way, ANN, we have various layers, and these layers will have some input, output and some hidden layer. So basically the ANN, a simplest ANN will have a one input layer, one output layer, and in between one hidden layer, which is responsible for performing all the calculations. So with the help of input layer, we will accept input data from the outside world or the data set which is to be trained by the machine, and as an output we will receive the output layer, and in between hidden layer will perform all the calculation. Now, based upon the type of ANN, we can have one or more than one hidden layers, and based upon that we will decide the type of ANN. So based upon the number of hidden layers or presence of hidden layers within the ANN, we can have single layer feed forward network or multi-layer feed forward network. So feed forward network is the one in which we cannot backtrack, we can only move in forward direction. Means if we are going from point A to B, then we cannot backtrack to A. We can only move in further direction. If I am going from A to B, then I can further go to some other destination, but I cannot backtrack. That is feed forward. So single layer feed forward means only single layer is present between input and output layer, and multi-layer feed forward network means there are multiple hidden layers present between input and output layer. So this is the diagram for the single layer feed forward network, which is the simplest and most basic architecture of ANN. So it only has two layers, that is input layer and output layer, and all the layers are connected with each other. As we can see in the diagram, X1 is connected to Y1, Y2, Yn. Similarly, X2 is connected to Y1, Y2, Yn, and similarly XM is connected to all the output layers. So this is the property of ANN, that all the layers are interconnected to each other. So in single layer feed forward network, we have input layer and output layer. Now multi-layer forward network, we have one or more than one hidden layers present between input and output layer. Means whatever input set we are receiving at the input layer is being transferred to the hidden layer, and further from the hidden layer it is being transferred to the output layer. Now we can have one hidden layer, and we can also have more than one hidden layers present between these two input and output layers. Next, we can have recurrent neural networks. Apart from single layer and multi-layer ANN feed forward network, we can have recurrent neural network. Now what is recurrent neural network? It is similar to ANN, but a slight difference is there. The recurrent network saves the output of a layer and feeds this output back to the input for better predict the outcome of the layer. Means in feed forward network, we are not allowed to backtrack at any cost. But in recurrent neural network, whatever data is being transferred to the hidden layer as an output is being stored and revert back to the input layer, so that further we can modify the results like this. So this step from Z to X was missing in the feed forward network, and recurrent neural network will provide this feature so that we can improvise our data or training set. So this is the learning process in ANN. How learning process or we can train machine using ANN. So there are these steps. First is the number of layers in the network. So first factor which is responsible for learning process in ANN is the number of layers in the network. How many layers are present within the network? Either it is single layered or multi-layered. First, this must be cleared. Then is the direction of signal flow. It is feed forward or recurrent. Either we are going with the dealing with the feed forward network or we are going with the recurrent network. Next is the number of nodes present in the layer, that is x1 to xm and y1 to ym. How many total number of nodes, or we can say if we are talking about the human brain, how many neurons are present within the system. So the number of, because the number of output nodes will depend on possible outcomes. Okay, based upon the single layer or multi-layer feed forward network, their data will be decided. How many output layers will be there? In single layer, there must be equal number of input and output nodes. The number of input nodes are equivalent to the number of output nodes. But in case of multi-layer, the differentiation will be there. It will depend upon the number of layers which are existing within the system. Next is the weight of interconnected node. What is the weight which is being kept on the nodes? Means the work of the axon, ki whatever data value is being passed to the other node. So value of weights attached with each interconnection between each neuron, so that a specific learning problem can be solved correctly. Now, learning methods are again dependent on either it is supervised learning, unsupervised learning or reinforcement. So in supervised learning, whatever data we are providing as an input is being transmitted to the neural network, and whatever data we are providing here will generate the actual output. But in between there must be some signal error generator. So this is the error generator, means whatever data we are transferring, maybe it is 80% accurate or 90% accurate. So some error will be generated there, and this error is transferred to the neural network so that it can be further processed. Next is the unsupervised learning. As the name suggests, unsupervised learning, we are not providing any kind of feedback to the system. Machine has to on its own decide whatever is happening. So there is no feedback from the environment. As in this, there is a feedback from the environment, means whatever results we are getting, we are providing the error report to the neural network. But in case of the unsupervised learning, there is no feedback present within the system. There is no feedback. Feedback was missing. That is unsupervised learning. Next comes the reinforcement learning. The reinforcement learning, again, it works on the award and reward system. So whatever data, the feedback obtained here is evaluated, not instructive, which means there is no teacher as in supervised learning. Means whatever data we are receiving here is being evaluated, and as in reward or award is being transmitted to the machine. So every time whatever it receives as a award, it will return back to the system, and based upon that, machine will recognize whether it has to follow the same step, it has to keep that process for future, or it has to remove that step from the process. So that is the reinforcement learning process of ANN. Next comes the application of ANN. So there are various applications of ANN. ANN is solving multiple problems. Few of them are written here, that is signal processing, pattern recognition, that is handwriting recognition, your signature recognition, speech recognition, human emotion detection, voice recognition, है ना, abdominal pain prediction, marketing and sales, personal assistant, social media, facial recognition, weather forecasting. So all these are the applications which are being performed by the ANN. So in today's world, ANN is solving various problems, but as the name suggests, it will work as per the human brain. So all the terms which are associated with the human brain are being depicted in terms of machine to get the ANN. So we can have various other applications also which are responsible for ANN. So as per the ANN, we can not only generate the work on machine learning, but it basically comes in the part of the deep learning, because as the we are coming to the neural networks, it will come to the part of the deep learning. So I hope the topic is clear. We will discuss more topics in the next lecture. Thank you so much.